What's up guys, it's Roger, and today I'll be teaching you how to use your Blink Hunter in Trials of Osiris on Javelin 4. Now, we have some new stuff with the Blink Hunter here, and we're going to go ahead and break that down really quick so you know what we're using today in this build. So we have our typical stuff that I usually run, the Gathering Storm, Gambler's Dodge, so we can chain that with the combination blow. You dodge here, you get your melee back, you punch here, you kill somebody, it gets you a little bit class energy back, so those kind of loop into each other quite well. And as well as that, whenever you do dodge, you're going to get your flow state, or excuse me, your lethal current here, you kill somebody with that, and then your flow state will help you get amplified. That's the pretty general loop you're going here with your Blink Hunter when you're going aggressive like we are today with a Blink Shotgun playstyle. I do have a Lightning Grenade because they're pretty good, especially on something like Javelin with a lot of walls in close corners, because you can really catch people out, especially behind Titan shields. Now we have a few new fragments here, so I want to cover those especially. So right here we have Spark of Haste. You have greatly increased resilience, recovery, and mobility while sprinting. Obviously very good. Bumping all three of those stats up is real nice when you're sprinting around. Maybe you take a shot from around a corner. Hey, you're not going to take as much damage because you had that resilience there. That's pretty cool. The recovery, of course, speaks for itself. We want to recover his health as quickly as we can. And mobility, obviously, is our class stat here for our Hunter, which means that we don't actually have to have that stat maxed out because we have something like this where we can just start sprinting and then it basically maxes itself out anyways. Now over here is the other new one. We have Spark of Instinct. While critically wounded, taking damage emits a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets. The best part about this is that it's going to jolt targets, but it's not the best thing in the world. If you go close to somebody, you know you're going in there, especially if you just dodge first, you have your lethal current, you go in, do Blink Shotgun somebody, this can go off, help make them jolted, especially if like a second guy comes up and the first guy maybe you kill with your lethal current here, so he was jolted, you can jolt the second guy with this, you know, there's some stuff that it can be useful for. It doesn't do that much damage, honestly. I feel like it has to be like 30 or less damage because I've never really seen this do that much great stuff. Like I've never seen it secure a kill even when I have somebody really low, but I have seen it help me a few times, and when we get to those clips today, I'll definitely point them out because this can be kind of helpful, especially if you're blinking like a group of 3 people and you just want to go balls to the wall. This can be kind of helpful. We have some old fragments on here. Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace just to help us get our abilities back a little faster. And then obviously I have this on. We can't do finishers obviously, but I wanted to get 100 recov and I couldn't do that just with my armor right now because I don't have the best armor on my Blink Hunter here, so I had to put this on just so I get the extra plus 10 recov. Now for our weapons, we're going to be running the classic Ace of Spades. You can't go wrong with this hand cannon. It's always just so solid, so that's what we're going to be running today, along with the Matador 64, because that is an arc weapon, of course, so we want to use those with our Arc Hunter here, and then a Blink Eager Edge sword right here. You can go ahead and check out the mods here. I have some kinetic targeting type stuff. I have on a Arc Dexterity to help me pull out this shotgun, because of course they took away Quick Charge because they don't know how to make their game work correctly. I have some Unflinchings here for our Ace of Spades, and then some Surge for our weapons, and last but not least, a Reaper mod down here, so if we use our dodge and then take somebody out, we do spawn a Orb of Power. Time Dilation is a mod down here that makes it so whenever we pick up a Orb of Light, it's going to let us have a longer duration with that Orb of Light, so that's very nice for us to have. So yeah, that's pretty simple stuff right there. If you have any questions about any of these mods, guns, fragments, aspects, anything like that, go ahead and leave those in the comments, or join the Blinkville Discord server, which I will have linked in the top right and in the description. Now all that being said, we are about ready to get into this video, but I do want to say if you guys want to leave me a like on this video at any point or subscribe, that stuff sends signals straight to YouTube that you are enjoying the video and enjoying the channel. That will help me because that'll show the video to more people and I can really just, you know, spiral it up from there. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for any of that. But if you just want to watch the video and enjoy, that is completely fine too. All that being said, I think we're ready to get in this gameplay, so why don't we go ahead and blink on into it. So as always, I have my first round of the day for you guys here. I like to show you my first round of the day so you can know exactly what my thought process is as I start out here. Now, what I'm doing here is one of my favorite ways to start a round. I like to flank around the outside of the map because people like that aren't always paying attention. But you can see I got in a bit of a tricky situation here. So what I wanted to do was get around this box, use my dodge to get my lethal current. I shot and punched immediately and actually took out 2 guys right there. And I actually didn't realize I took out 2 guys until right here. You can see I moved my camera around because I'm like, oh, wait, because my teammates killed 1 and I was like, who killed the 3rd one? And I was like, oh, apparently I just flat out semi-truck smashed their ball sacks into each other so hard that they came out looking like silly putty on the other side. Now, most of the time what I was trying to do was take shots downrange, of course, with my Ace of Spades. You know, can I get a pick? Can I do some team shots with my boys? Stuff like that, and then go in with a shotgun afterwards. That guy flies in, I punch him in the nutsack, take him out, fly in, map the second guy pretty easily right there. That's the kind of stuff you're looking for, you know, seeing those situations where you can actually get aggressive with your blink and then go in on the enemy and take them out. Now this match was pretty fun. It came out to a 4-4 situation here, so it was like, ooh, we're getting to the crazy times here where you really got to focus up. Of course, with our wall hacks, I can see that guy, so I know he's going to re-peek or not, but this guy comes around and I was like, man, I thought I hit those shots, and then apparently Destiny said, you know what, You did hit those shots. So a full second after I died later, they were like, here you go. And they just gave me the kill, said I got a headshot kill. And it's like, okay, cool. Maybe next time I actually load my shots as I hit them, and then I wouldn't have died, and I would have just got to, you know, kill all 3 of them earlier. Of course, I still kill all 3 of them, but it just takes an extra second. So there's Bungie servers for you. You gotta love Destiny 2 sometimes, baby. Now, coming into this next play, I was playing B flag a lot, or I was playing mid. You can see right here, this is a great nade you can do. Of course, this time didn't work out because actually nobody pushed that, but usually somebody will be sniping there, playing with a pulse rifle there, and if they are, that lightning nade is absolutely beautiful one to use, so keep it in mind for the future. I take that guy out with a nice headshot there after getting my shots on point after a second, and now I have Memento Mori, so I'm looking to fly onto this last guy after taking out the first 2. Luckily, my teammate kind of suicide bombed right there and took out the last guy, so I really appreciate that. You see how I'm flying over that box right there? You can actually kind of blink, pop up, float yourself off that staircase and perfectly float over that box, so you don't really have to worry about it being in your way too much. I had a really nice blink off this wall here, so I wanted to show you guys that. You can do those nice little wall slides, is kind of what I call them, very easily. If you see someone is on the left side, like that guy was there, you can just go ahead, blink yourself into the wall on the right side, slide yourself off of it, and as you hit the ground, go into a slide, because you're going to be coming out of a sprint as you come out of your blink, as long as you were sprinting as you went into your blink. So as you hit the ground, you just go into a slide, go right up to them with your shotgun, take them out pretty easily. Hit a nice 3-tap on this guy, reload as quick as you can so we can grab that Memento Mori, and see if we can use it on somebody else. The enemy loads a rocket launcher right there, so what I wanted to do is see if I could just bomb him down with my teammates. I was able to, and I had 3 Mori shots left, so what I did was decided I wanted to try to use that on him, but I actually got a sword ammo right there, so I decided, hey, I'll just use that instead, blink to the side of him, and then sword slash back towards him. You gotta remember Eager Edge has really good tracking on it, although it can be quite glitchy, but if it actually does track, you know, it's gonna be awesome. So what you wanna try to do is blink to the side of your enemy, and then pull out your Eager Edge sword and slash their pussy open like a nice PB&J sandwich. Flying onto that guy, you can see, once you are amplified, you are going to slide farther than a greased up slip and slide, baby. You are going to get right on top of those enemies and take them out easily. Of course, we need to remember that that kind of got buffed in its own way too. Remember a little while ago when they buffed shotguns and they took away the penalty of sliding, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't expand your pellet spread anymore when you slide with a shotgun. That means that when you are amplified, it's even better now. I had to show you guys the end of this match here. I know I die, but I got a nice pick there. My teammates take out the last 2. Because I hated these guys. These guys were some of the worst players. And this is some of the most annoying stuff. It was like, people were just backpedaling all day. Just backpedaling. I could not get any kind of fun matches where people were just fighting me. I think this might have been the match. Was that Osteo Streaker guy? I don't remember or not. But all I was doing was shoving my fucking dino nuggy nuts on top of those guys' faces. Left nut is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Right nut is a Stegosaurus. And I was just saying, eat up, baby boys, because they were just annoying me so much. There was a lot of players like that just annoying me today, doing just the goofiest stuff, and every time, I swear, I wanted to go in with this shotgun, just like those guys just standing there, just backpedaling, so I was like, oh my god, you know what, screw it, no, I'm going in with a shotgun, baby, you guys are getting it. I have my lethal current up. I take the guy out first there with a lethal current shotgun, shoot the second shotgun blast out, and the third guy dies because of some nice jolt damage, you know, going off on him, and you gotta remember that's some really nice stuff. But I wanted to actually point out one of our new fragments there. So we were talking about the fragment of Spark, I want to say it's called something like that. Sorry, I'm really bad at remembering these names for the fragments, to be honest with you, because there are a lot of them, but it's the one that's going to do the damage spark off of you once you actually take enough damage where you're at critical health, right? So when you get down to red health, it shoots some damage out. Most importantly, what it does is it's going to jolt your enemies, so it can actually spread that jolt damage afterwards. The actual damage that it does, from what I noticed, because I watched that clip in slow-mo, I think it did 19 damage to that third guy. I actually think it went off and it did 19 damage. So I don't think it does much damage in the slightest. I think when they designed that fragment right there, what they were designing it to do was to just do, I can't think of words right now, was to apply jolt. They want it to apply jolt. They don't want it to do a bunch of damage. And I kind of get that, because I think if it did a bunch of damage, it might be a little overpowered, but by keeping it to where it mostly is made to apply jolt and just do the tiniest bit of damage, it makes it a good fragment, but nothing crazy. So I do appreciate that it can still be quite a useful fragment, especially when you're going in with those just like balls to the wall builds like I'm doing right here. It can actually be quite useful, especially if you have a good team to follow up, because now they follow up and you applied that jolt on them, so now they can use that jolt to spread it between the remaining enemies. You'll do some extra damage, and you could still be very useful even with something like that, right? But it doesn't do a bunch of damage, so don't expect yourself to fly in and just like, you know, suicide bomb yourself like I was saying earlier, like my teammate did. Don't expect yourself to do that very reliably with this fragment, because that's not what it's made for. It's made to apply jolt, so honestly it's probably even better in PvE, but I think it has quite a bit of merit in PvP, and it'll probably become a fragment that I run close to 100% of the time, but I'm going to keep using it and experimenting with it a bit more before I solidly say that or not. Hit some nice 3 taps on those guys, and you can see right here, Lethal Current is one of the best aspects, in my opinion, in the entire game. It gives us extra lunge distance, right? It applies that jolt, it does the extra damage, and it just does so much to actually destroy your enemies, and it makes blink shotgunning on Hunter so much more viable, because without that extra lunge distance, without that extra little bit of damage you can do with that, there's just a little bit of lacking. You know, we don't have an Astrocyte variant with our Blink Hunter, and that's something I want to talk about a little bit. So something I really want to see on Blink Hunter is an Astrocyte Burst variant. Of course, Astrocyte Burst on our Blink Warlock, what does it do? Well, most importantly, it gives you a plus 100 to your handling on any weapon you're trying to pull out when you come out of a blink. That means your shotguns are very good, especially in the current meta, the current sandbox, where we lost Quick Charge. Right? So now quick draw shotguns are more important than ever, but you can still use non-quick draw shotguns, especially on something like Blink Warlock, because you have that Astrocyte Burst where you can easily pull those shotguns out as you exit the blink. I want to point out really quickly here how I smacked this guy easily because I knew where he was, because I have Foe Tracer on. You're going to see that in a few clips out throughout the day here, but of course Foe Tracer always really good. Now, that being said, as we were saying before, I just really think Hunters need an Astrocyte Burst variant, but I just don't know why Bungie hasn't given us one yet. It's extremely frustrating when you just want to go in, but you can't do what you usually can with your Astrocyte Burst Blink Warlock, right? Because you don't have as far of a blink distance. You don't get to keep your radar as you go throughout the blink. You don't get that extra handling as you come out of the blink. There's just so many things that are lacking on Blink Hunter, and it absolutely sucks because I'm intending to play a lot more Blink Hunter this season, and honestly I already have started doing so. But I noticed the pitfalls a lot more when I actually start playing it. I noticed just the parts where it's lacking, and the biggest part where it's lacking is the lack of an Astrocyte Burst, the lack of a specifically made Blink exotic for this hunter, and I just wish Bungie would add that, but I don't think they will. But I wanted to just kind of bring it up because as I've really started dedicating myself this season to playing a little more Blink Hunter, because I really want to just put my nose to the grindstone. You know, I've been playing a lot more Destiny 2 this season, and it's been a decent enough experience. You know, I've been enjoying the game a little more, I will say, just kind of making myself play it. I've been having some fun with different builds and stuff, trying out new guns, and I have a lot more of that to give to you guys. But there's just a lot of things that I've been noticing as I've been playing more where I'm like, man, they really need to like just address this stuff, but they just don't, because they don't even know Blink exists half the time, and it's just quite the frustrating thing. But you all let me know your opinions in the comments, because I know there are some hunter exotics that honestly they could just take. I think it's not, God, what is it? I can't remember the name of it right now. Actually, hold on, let me pause really quick and go find out so I can say it to you guys. So the exotic's actually called Blight Ranger, and it's kind of just useless. So it does increase damage to whatever you're reflecting with your arc staff. The thing is, that's just kind of, I mean, like it can be fine in PvE, but like in PvP, you're really not going to use that anyways, because if you're reflecting a super, it's already like going to kill the enemy. You don't need it anymore. What people have been saying for a while, and I agree with ever since Blink Hunter came out, is to just take that exotic and rework it into a Blink exotic for hunters, because they really deserve one. And if that exotic is already going to be functionally useless because nobody's using it, you know, then why not just go ahead and take it and make it actually something useful? We are coming into the last few plays here, so I do want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you do want to subscribe or leave a like, I'd really appreciate that. It helps along. It goes a long way, and it helps the channel a bunch, so just thank you so much. But even if you just watched and you just enjoyed and you don't want to leave a like or anything, I mean, it's really easy. You just gotta click that little button. But hey, if you're a little too lazy there, you don't want to do that, that's fine. I just really appreciate you watching this long. I hope you guys are enjoying Trials. Tell me, leave me in the comments, you know, are you enjoying Trials? I think Javelin 4 is actually the best map in PvP, in my opinion. It's my favorite PvP map. I think it has every range addressed really well. You can play shotguns, you can play SMGs, snipers, pulse rifles, hand cannons, and you can play them all really easily on this map, you know, because there's just so many places. Like you can go outside here and you can play your pulses and snipers, but you can stay inside and play your shotguns and your SMGs and your hand cannons, and I really appreciated that about this map. So I've been having a very fun time, but you guys let me know, do you like Javelin 4 and are you having fun on it? Because if you're not, you know, let me know, because I'd love to know your opinion of why you wouldn't think this is a good map, because that would just blow my little noggin. Anyways, I want to let this last play out for you guys, and just say I really appreciate you. So that is it for me today, and as always, have a great day, Guardians.